Play the intro video today.
All right.
What is up, YouTube? It's your boy G11 back at it again, along with the resident otaku Jude to discuss some things today.
You know we here to do what we came here to do. A bit of God's work.
God's work. That's right, one video at a time, right?
Yeah. But
So
before we kick
today,
this off, I do have something for you real quick.
oh, what you got?
So real talk, man. Have you ever seen Madoka Magica
Yes, it's that really fucked up anime.
with the magical girls and then, the contracts, blah blah blah. Not trying
Yep,
to spoil that for anyone, but what is Mommy Tomoe's favorite beverage to drink?
I don't know. What is it?
The cappuccino.
Oh, that's in poor taste. But it's true. Oh, wait a minute. Razzle Dazzle, he says, well, I guess the messages are a little bit delayed on our end, but
Oh,
he says it's that messed up Sailor Moon anime, and he's right.
yeah, just a little bit. But
And
I thought I'd try a little bit of something because guess what else?
what else?
What's a Pokemon addict's favorite place to visit in France?
I don't know. What is it?
Paris.
God. The fact that I understood the joke, like Paris. Okay. Okay. Yeah, some good humor to break the ice before we dig into this, because it's a pretty controversial topic, this thing, and we've covered it on the channel before, actually several times, and I've been following the story since February of this year, with Brittney Griner when she first got arrested, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is, well, I got a clip on my show, and then I'll break it down somewhere. This is like some breaking news. Obviously, I'm a little bit late reporting on this, but about a day ago, this is she got sentenced. So I'm gonna play the clip and shut up now.
Watching Chronicle News at
I
9.
made an honest mistake. That is why I pled guilty. But I had no intent to break any Russian laws. I never meant to hurt anybody.
Okay, first off, I did not know that's how she sounded. She sounds like a straight man. Holy shit, Jesus.
Yo, some people have a deep voice.
I mean, her voice is deeper than mine, bro. Holy hell. Maybe I don't. Okay,
Hey,
I'm
you
sorry.
can't
I'm
just
sorry.
judge people based off of their voices.
I'm sorry I mentioned it like that, but that it caught me. I never heard Brittney Griner actually talk, so this is my actual first time watching this clip with you. So this is like, wow, what the hell? Okay,
Yeah,
continuing. I'm gonna
fair
shut
enough.
up now.
Tonight at 9, we're getting local reaction now to Brittney Griner's sentencing in Russia. The basketball star was convicted on drug possession charges today. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Vicki Liviakis.
And I'm Catherine Heenan. This case has really grabbed international attention while mixing sports and global politics. And the LGBTQ community is weighing in on the verdict. Crown First Stand.
That damn LGBTQ plus IA Omega Alpha Delta variant. They always got to weigh in on everything, don't they?
Yeah.
Jesus. And again, like I don't. I personally, I do not have any qualms against people that choose to live their lives in whatever way. Like, but as I've always stated on the channel, my issue is with the agenda that's being pushed, not the actual people. You want to live your life that way? That's cool. Like, you do you.
Yeah.
Just don't force it on everybody else. Anyway, continuing.
Dan Thorne is in the newsroom tonight and joins us with more on that part of the story. Dan?
Well, Catherine and Vicky, the 31-year-old basketball star was found guilty of deliberately smuggling cannabis oil into a Russian airport. Griner was arrested back in February, accused of having the illegal vape cartridges in her luggage. But there have been concerns that Griner has been detained as a political pawn because of the United States' stance on Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
That's not speculation. We can say without a doubt that's fact that she's being used as a pawn. You feel me?
Mhm. Yeah.
And we're gonna get to that part after this as well. Listen, y'all are crazy, and y'all are dumb. Not the people that watch this channel, but just the public is dumb. that keeps talking about this. Hold on. Soma says the Voltron of human society, LGBTQ has been combining political, social, economical, and sometimes comical aspects of life. Absolutely right, man. Absolutely right.
Sentencing brought about strong reaction, including what comes next for Griner. The two-time Olympic gold medalist and WNBA superstar with a blank expression as she learned her fate. 9 years in a Russian prison. The guilty verdict for Brittney Griner was expected, but calls from the U.S. continue to demand for her release. Bay Area Congresswoman Barbara Lee taking to social media saying the conviction was absolutely disgraceful and that
Listen, we can't sit up here and dictate other countries' laws the same way that other countries can't dictate what goes on here. But this is a big part of this equation, right? Literally I think the past 24 to 48 hours on my social media timeline, I have literally been seeing posts exactly like this, talking about free Brittney Griner, free BG. She did nothing wrong. Da 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 da. It's just on and on and on and on, and none of the people are actually looking at it. Oh, here we go. She's totally going to affect change by tweeting at Russia. Well, she may not be affecting Russia, right? But here's the thing: our government is kind of caving to mob rule. That's the scary part about this.
So
I mean,
I was actually talking to one of my coworkers about this a bit
mhm.
because, astonishingly enough, I don't know if he was psychic because I know what was it? Tuesday we rocked the episode and we're thinking about doing like just something stupid
Yeah,
just
we
to
were
like
going to
kind
do a
of
stupid thing.
relax from stuff.
Yep.
And I'm not
And then this
saying
route.
I mind talking about this, but it's just like went from one talking about something stupid and he was just like, yo, you guys should cover this. And I was just like, we've talked about it a few times, and when we got into it, the way he was looking at it, and I'm not trying to take what he said out of context or anything like that,
Sure.
but while we were going through it, he brought up like in some ways he doesn't see what the problem is as going through it. Like we found out cannabis does not hurt people. I mean,
Correct.
yeah, she screwed up her career because she took it to another country, but why is it still looked at as a big thing? And the way I painted it was, regardless of how you look at it, whether it's an argument for smuggling, because
Mhm.
that's one way you could do it.
Yeah.
Getting on a flight, you're relying on the federal government.
Correct.
And for us, as I mentioned, coworker, by federal government standards,
That
at
shit's
this time,
illegal.
like it does not fly.
Yeah, it's straight illegal. I mean, but in general, even like when you just look at excuse me, I need to get something to drink in a minute. I'm literally dying. Um I think the airlines are federally regulated.
Yeah.
Now, quote me. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think anytime you're on a plane and you're flying somewhere, or if you're going international, that's like federal type stuff. Hey, what's up, Carl? I see you down there. Yeah. Actually, give me a second here. I'm going to post this here. Carl, if you want to tap in, you can. Here's the link. I put it in our chat. In the actual chat. Now, we'll watch for any Pastor Franks down there, but but the StreamYard link is in the chat if you want to tap in, Carl.
I
But
mean,
yeah, like
if anyone wants to tap in, but you will be screamed.
yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure, we'll have them do a specific action before we actually bring them up. Aside from the people we already know, right?
Yeah.
But when you're back to the thing, when you're dealing with flying internationally or from state to state, whatever, you're subject to like federal laws as well as the state law. But we're talking internationally here. It doesn't matter, how we feel about the situation. The fact of the matter is, weed is 100% illegal in Russia. Like they just don't have any parts of it. Not saying it's not there because we have illegal shit that is still here, but their penalties are much stiffer. She had just had cartridges and got 9 years. You know what I mean? And this wasn't her first time traveling to Russia. She played for a women's basketball team in Russia. That's why she was there. You know what I mean? She's there and she was getting, I think, the equivalent of like $1 million to play for the Russian women's team versus in America, she was getting about 200,000 a year, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Like, you know, and people are trying to compare her to like the NBA, and we've had that whole discussion, right? Where it's
Mhm.
just, you know, it's two completely different levels of skill and play involved.
Yeah, the
But
fundamentals.
the fundamentals and just other stuff. So, but the fact of the matter, she's flown to Russia several times. You understand when you're flying, internationally, you're subject to all this other stuff. So, all these people coming out on social media as just the mob and saying, "Oh, free Brittney Griner, free her. Biden, what are you doing? Biden, Biden, Biden. You got to negotiate." Meanwhile, there's another dude who's been in Russian custody for a long time now, several years. I think it's a Marine or something like that. I got to look at his name, and I feel terrible. I don't know his name, right? But
Mhm.
no one's advocating for that guy. You know what I'm saying? No one's advocating for him at all. Why are we choosing to make her the superstar? We're putting her on the cover of Time. We're saying free her. When all this information is out there to make an educated interpretation of what's going on here,
Yeah.
um I want to continue this and then there's an article I want to get to.
Griner should be home with her wife and loved ones, but is instead being used by Russia as a political pawn.
This
I
is
think for
crazy.
most Americans to think of someone receiving a 9-year prison sentence for a small amount of cannabis is shocking.
Criminal attorney and legal analyst Steve Clark says because of Griner's high profile, her trial was more political than criminal. He believes Russia is taking advantage of the situation and a prisoner swap with the U.S. might be the solution.
I
It
agree,
is a
Razzle Dazzle.
dangerous political game that's being played, though, because you could encourage other countries to hold Americans in these show trials for high criminal sentences, seeking some diplomatic avenue to release the prisoner.
Despite President Biden denouncing Griner's sentence and calling it unacceptable, the president of San Francisco Pride says the response from the federal government has been shameful, pointing to Griner.
Hold on, who the fuck cares about the president of San Francisco Pride? Who the fuck cares about what they think? It's some
Somebody
random
does.
some random pride organization that we've never heard of. Oh, they said the federal government's response. The federal government is very limited. Listen. Oh my God, hold on. 2 new era American pastimes enmeshed. But I'm so serious. I'm so like just y'all really got to pay attention to how this stuff is reported and what's going on because this is hilarious. Oh, the federal government's response. Well, listen, the federal government is caving to what y'all want, and they are negotiating with Russia. And oh my God, you know what? I'm gonna just get right to it. We don't even need to watch the rest of this because we know she got 9 years in Russian prison. I'm gonna get to this article. Our government is willing to trade some pretty egregious people to get Brittney Griner back, who really doesn't care for how things are run over here, who kneels during national anthems, who wants to come. I mean, yeah, okay. This is who the U.S. is willing to trade to get Brittney Griner back. Victor Bout. You ever heard of this guy, Jude?
I have not. Like at first, when you mentioned like a Russian dude, I was like a guy in Russia over there. I was like, "Do you talking about Edward Snowden?" Because that's
No, not Snowden.
that's a whole other can of worms.
No, this is so Victor Bout. He's known as the Merchant of Death. Okay. He is a black arms dealer. At one point, I think he was the largest, black arms dealer in the world. And he's responsible for a lot of wars being started and a lot of death. And because our government is caving to the mob rule of people wanting Brittney Griner back, they're willing to trade this guy. And actually, there's another Russian they're going to trade. They didn't mention his name, but there's like some Russian assassin that Russia wants back. So they're willing to trade this black arms dealer and an assassin to get Brittney Griner's ungrateful ass back. Are you kidding me? Oh, wait a minute.
Hold
Here's
up.
Carl.
Hold up.
Here's
Let's bring him in.
Hey,
He
we
is
got-
the man who claims to have no Discord, yet full on, I got records of him having a Discord.
Yeah, on my
Welcome, Carl.
other phone, not this.
There's Carl.
I'm just saying, man. You be telling
gotta-
people you ain't got Discord,
I
but
don't.
yeah, you do. You have a Discord.
Other phone.
All you got to do is download the app, Carl.
I don't want to. I'm stubborn.
Oh
I
my
will do
God.
it sometime later. James, be quiet, because Andreas keeps bothering me about that too. But I don't care.
Look, man, I'm just saying, it's simple and easy, and a good way to communicate with your friends.
It is. It's a great way to stay in touch. Also, on the side note, Soma says, laughing out loud, an assassin and a black arms dealer for an entertainer. I wouldn't even call her an entertainer. I'd say she's probably first rate in the WNBA, but what's that thing Kaiba says? Third rate
duelist with a fourth rate dick.
Third rate basketball player on the first rate
yo.
team. I mean, but seriously, this is insane. This
Look
is
who she
actually
take
insane.
on Michael Jordan.
But can she beat Goku?
Oh. Here's my 2 cents about it. And G, if you remember, I said this last week, bargaining chip.
Oh, that's exactly
reason
what
I
she
said
is.
And there's a reason I will never go to Russia or China, especially in times of war, because of this exact thing.
Right.
That's the only reason I said it, because I've seen a pattern. She is not the only one to go through this. There have been plenty of American people to be arrested over there for something stupid.
Facts. No, 100%. But that's my point. That's why I don't understand why folks are so avidly choosing to defend her on social media, bro, because the information is out there. Oh yeah, and the time it took you to make that excuse, Carl, you could have downloaded it.
They can get out of here. He's antagonist number 1. So,
oh my days. But yeah, so like people are avidly defending her when all the information is out there. People have plenty of time to make educated decisions on what's happening. I mean, the fact of the matter is, she had those cartridges with her. You know, she tried to bring it into Russia. She broke Russian law, right? That's fact.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Folks, before you go abroad, study your laws.
If she didn't break the law, this wouldn't have happened. Ah, that's it. That's a good point too. But also, so I mean, there's other stuff. She decided she was going to be in Russia around the time all the shit was kicking off with Ukraine, because remember that started back in February.
Yep.
And I know me, being in the military, we got all kinds of notifications about that shit, and we watch. I stay up with the news pretty regularly. They're saying, "Hey, all Americans, get the fuck out of there." shit's out of give you.
I've been saying that, like, you do not want to go into a country when they're having a war. Especially, I would never go into Russia in the middle of a war. They're crazy.
Russia, Ukraine, they were evacuating the embassies over there. They were telling them all Americans, like they were it was like a whole week up before this incident with her. They were like, "Hey, Americans, get out, get out, get out. Shit's about to go down," right?
And she went over there.
And she goes to Russia with some weed. So I don't feel bad for her, not even a little bit. And I know people are going to call me an asshole for that, but I really truly don't. I don't care for Brittney Griner. Again, this is the same person who chooses to kneel for the national anthem, trying to. You know what? You know what's going to happen when she comes back to America? She's going to be a fucking celebrity. She's going to be a celebrity. She's going to be the next Colin Kaepernick, bro. I'm telling you, they're gonna put her on the pedestal when she
I
comes back.
mean, again, with the, what was it? The illustration they did for Times, talking about how she did it for freedom.
For freedom. Get the fuck out of here.
Like,
The,
obviously, you know me, I can't, I'm still working on my setup, but if
yeah.
you could pull up like the Times article with her again.
Yeah, let me find that real quick. Goodness gracious. Times, Brittney Griner. She's on the cover of the Times. Oh wait a minute. That's New York Times. That's not what I want. I might be able to just get an image of it. Hold up. Okay, yeah, and this is being shared across Twitter. So let me drop that one out. And we'll stop that one and we will share this one. Okay.
Here's my question. Why did she go over there anyway?
To play basketball.
Yeah, she plays she plays basketball for WNBA teams over there. And well, the Russian Women's League, and they pay her like $1 million a year to play. Yeah. So I mean, it's for business, but at the same time, if you got all this other shit going on, probably not a good idea.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
like that money ain't worth it. That money is not worth it.
And like I said, she was already making $200,000 a year in America's WNBA. So it's not like, I mean, it's not millions of dollars, but that's pretty fucking good. That's more money than I'll ever make in a year. You know what I mean? Like she's not hurting. But you know, the people bring up, you know, that argument. What I saw on social media a lot as well was they're comparing her to LeBron James a lot. And I don't know why LeBron James is always just the default comparison for everything, but like, oh, LeBron isn't even saying anything about it, and da 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 da. And this is the
he's too busy talking to Lola Bunny.
You're terrible.
Oh my god!
Sorry, too soon. Too soon.
Reminds me of that meat.
LeBron fans don't persecute me. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, he's. I still consider. Oh no, I don't know Michael Jordan. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, look at her. She's on the cover of the Time magazine, Brittney Griner and the Fight for Freedom. There you go. Someone got it right. Freedom and democracy. You have the freedom to actually complain about how great it is over here. So I don't literally the freedom to get on your iPad or your iPhone and you know talk about how bad it is. I truly don't understand it. Again, I don't understand why people are defending this nonsense. But you know, the sentencing is done. She got someone mayor speak. Oh, I'm getting like a call to do a survey or something. But again, like the survey is the survey. Oh my god, the sentencing is done. She got 9 years. And now, like you said, Carl, she's being used as a bargaining chip. And I think we're gonna cave. I think we're absolutely gonna cave and give up this arms dealer, this merchant of death. Literally, there was a movie inspired on this guy. That's how crazy it is.
He kind of looks like Jeremy Renner now that I look at him a little bit.
With that mustache.
Yeah.
If the world was as oppressive as they said, they'd be able to cry about it on. They would. No, you're right. Kay makes a point. All right, but check this out. Let's dig into this article. It talks about him. This 55-year-old Russian was the world's most notorious arms dealer before a U.S. court convicted him in 2011 and sent him to a prison in Illinois. He's now the focus of a potential prisoner swap between the U.S. and Russia, which holds 2 Americans that the Biden administration hopes to free. Check it. So he's in his mid-20s when the Soviet Union fractured in 91, leaving vast quantities of Soviet military hardware scattered across 15 newly minted countries. Most all of them were ill-equipped to pay their troops or keep track of the weapons they just inherited. Almost anything was available for a price. So this man is literally traveling around these countries, just selling weapons and just starting wars. And could you? It's literally like I was saying. He's probably responsible for a lot of death.
I have to say this. If they get their hands on him,
bro,
if they get him back,
it's going to be a bad time.
It's going to be a very bad time. Especially,
but people don't care. They would free Brittney.
You know what I have to say to that?
Too. Okay, folks.
You know what I got for that though?
What's that?
What do you call the anime Bill of Rights?
Anime Bill of Rights.
Good Lord.
The manga carta.
Shut up. But no.
All right, hold on. I gotta give James the
James.
There we go.
All right, I'm done.
But go ahead, Carl. What were you about to say, bro?
Okay, folks. On the outside of this podcast, please hear me. Yes, Brittney Griner's wife should see her again. But y'all have to think about the bigger picture here, because there is one, unfortunately. Notorious arms dealer, who sounds about as dangerous as I think he is, because I hadn't heard of him. But Vladimir Putin's insane. Okay, if they get that man back, who knows what he's going to put in that man's hands?
Exactly.
Who knows what he's going to put in Vladimir Putin's hands? Nuclear codes, any weapons we probably don't even know about. Like, I know I sound crazy, but that's where we're going. I said this in the last episode. I'll say it in this episode. We are headed towards an insane time. We don't need this. No. Stick Miss Griner, I'm sorry, stick it out 9 years. I sound like a dick. Stick it out 9 years. They can't get him back.
Facts. Here, let me read some of the comments here. Someone says, funny how we're giving these two guys up with a potential war being waged between Ukraine and Russia, with the U.S. being on the side of Ukraine, but also accepting donations for political engagements from, and then it continues, from Russia, while at the same time, they still utilize those two ad-heavy war influencers. Yeah, that's a very good point. And Kay says, Russia already has nukes, Carl.
They're probably gonna get more nukes if this dude gets. Who knows what else they're gonna? He knows my.
They're gonna get some. They're gonna get some Freya from Britannia.
Oh my god!
Start piling in a few nightmares.
But bro, think about it. So he has, that's his actual nickname, is the Merchant of Death, right? And the article that I'm looking at, it actually says there is a movie based off of him called Lord of War in 2005, starring Nicolas Cage. So they made a movie on this guy, or based off this guy.
I've actually heard of that movie. Never watched it, but I heard of it.
I think I'm gonna have to go check it out. His nickname, which is also the title of a biography. Do you know what mutually assured destruction was? Absolutely. That's kind of the end game of most war now, because everyone has nukes. So if anyone sees anybody launch anything, then we're like,
scramble for your button.
3, 2, 1, go. Just nukes across the world. You know,
I mean, I think my father was telling me a story about Reagan, and he said the only reason when that man was president that other countries didn't really mess with him was because he was batshit insane. He would literally probably go and press every button.
Well, yeah, I've talked about this. I think probably not on the podcast, but like just in personal conversations, in terms of like world leaders and like who we have in the seat, right? So if we have a president that's very timid, looks like he's asleep, the world's gonna laugh at him. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk about our current president and commander in chief, right? But I mean, man, it looks like he's just out of it all the time. He can't even ride a bike right.
I gotta go with unpopular opinion.
What you got?
Forgive me for saying this.
No, go for it.
But I'd rather go for his sleepy behind and chasing after an ice cream truck than what we had to deal with 4 years ago.
You think Trump was worse?
That again. I don't care how I don't care how Commander in Sleep. Okay. I will take Biden over that insanity that we had years ago. Like,
listen, he was a roller coaster, right? But at the same time, he kind of kept things in check with his craziness on the world stage. So think about it. When he was in the seat, I don't think Korea was doing as much. North Korea, North Korea is doing as much missile testing as they're doing now, which is something they've always done. But during his tenure, they didn't do as many. I think he was the first president to actually go to, oh my God, what is it called? The EDZ? Oh man, it's been a minute.
DMZ.
The DMZ, the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. It's literally like the border that separates them. And that's where they go to have negotiate. He's the first one to actually go to it and talk with Kim Jong and all that stuff. And Russia was just chilling during that time too. It was kind of like a stalemate between all the world powers. But now you got China. China is really pushing their luck. Russia was like, all right, Ukraine, this is it. We're claiming you. You know, China's like, Taiwan is ours. You know, we just had Nancy Pelosi go over there and piss China off. It's, I don't know. It seems like when you, I felt like even though he's crazy, stuff was just kind of at a stalemate, and they were like, okay, let's not fuck with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Kay says, you don't care how terrible Biden is because orange, man. But Carl, you gotta admit that is the popular, you know, most people, you know, probably agree with like, hey, we just didn't like him. You know what I mean? But you gotta look at the actual effects of what happened during his tenure in office. I know for me, as being in the military, I got a pay raise under this guy, so I was pretty happy about that.
I know, but then you had to look at what was going on around here. That was probably one of the reasons that that's part of the insanity I'm talking about. What was going on around the Trudeau, Biden, Putin, and Jong-un are all the same crazy. But
yeah,
as far as like on the world stage, sure, because they were okay with him and Putin, them two. Remember, they spoke behind closed doors. We don't know what them fools talked about. We have
you talking about Trump and Putin?
Yes, we don't know what they talked about, and
Sure.
that does kind of scare me. As far as Kim Jong-un, I kind of feel like those two got along. Then he said something mean on Twitter. Shut up, man. As far as him and Kim Jong-un, I don't know what happened there, so I'll give you a slight thumbs up on that. But as far as what was going on here, oh God, okay. So,
but let me ask you this. I just want to hit you with this question.
All right.
Do you think, okay, if Trump was still in the seat, that Russia would be as bold as they are in terms of holding Brittney and using her as a chip? Or do you think it is different because Biden's in the seat and he looked like he sleep all the time?
I think it's very different because remember, Biden don't mess with Putin, and neither did Obama. He doesn't mess
with anybody. He literally doesn't talk to anybody.
And
I think he fell asleep with the Canadian Prime Minister. He's sitting on the chair, the Canadian Prime Minister's looking at him. He's just. I'm sorry. It's just he really earned the nickname Sleepy Joe. Oh my God.
That's fair. That's I call him Ice Cream Joe too. Because he did chase. I did see the clip where he chased after the ice cream truck, and I don't get that. I'm like, Joe, what are you doing? The meeting's that way, not that way. Don't chase after the ice cream truck.
Oh God.
But I used to play a very risky game while walking down the street during that 4 years. I always counted the cop cars going by me, and I was just waiting for the one to stop me. Because there was unfortunately, there was a lot of racial tension during that time.
But so I think that tension. Well, hang on, let me read someone's comment. No, because Trump was used for his personality, superpower, polarization, which he utilized heavily on the U.S. So that ties into what you're saying, right? With the racial tension. So yeah, I mean, I'll agree to that point. During his tenure, racial tensions were very high. I don't think Trump in particular pushed the racial, like if anything, he was more. I think he was harder on China than everything because we had the COVID and he kept talking about China, Chinese virus, But I think the media had a major role to play in that because a lot of the stuff that happened was getting publicized a lot more. A lot of the shootings and some were unjust, some were justified, right? And
Yeah.
the internet amplifies that, especially on Twitter, because everyone wants to weigh in. We all want to play Monday morning quarterback on it, right?
Not
And we
me.
all. Oh, you said not you?
No, I stay away from Twitter, man.
Oh God,
That like the plague.
Twitter is a cesspool of villainy and filth, but it's a good place to.
That's why I avoid it.
But it's a good way to find out what's going on and what people are actually thinking about this stuff. Maybe a small quarter of the population. I know most of the population doesn't think the way Twitter does, but it gives me a good indication, right? That's what I use Twitter for anyway. Oh wait, we read that already. Especially here in Mississippi, he's talking about the racial tensions. Kay says racial tensions were higher because the left insisted that his movement was 100% racist, and that's a good part of it too. So I think the media had a part to play in it, and the left definitely had a massive part to play in it. They kept insisting he was racist and he was trying to, do all kinds of crazy shit. And I mean, we know Trump's not a politician. We know he's what was he on? He had all them shows, The Apprentice and Businesses and stuff like that. Told him you're fired.
But he was on. Are we talking about shows or are we talking about something else? Because
my God.
Mainly shows. Because real talk, I don't know if it's been a minute. Like it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I lost it when I heard he was trying to get his name off the credits for Little Rascals.
Oh yeah, he was in Little. I did remember that he was in Little Rascals.
Okay, so I saw him in Home Alone, and I didn't realize who he was until I looked back at that movie.
Yep.
Where was he in Little Rascals? Wait a minute.
He was the rich kid's dad. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that rich kid that was trying to snatch up Darla, he was his dad.
I gotta go watch that again.
Bro, yo.
Running gag with this man.
Pull up some more comments here. Not focusing on the race polarization, but the social polarization, because let's face it, homeboy triggered all aspects of life.
Yeah, not wrong about that.
Says left and right wings of the damn bird are being used to spin in a circle by our beloved leaders and world governments.
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Yes.
I know that is one view of it. It's two sides of the same coin, right?
It is so. This world is. I keep saying, and a lot of people are going to look at me like I'm crazy. I don't care. The ETs need to come get me. The aliens need to come get me. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to let you probe me, but.
Oh, you're trying to be like the professor from Futurama. I've said that a couple times too. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Let me get the important people in my life, and let's all get on and get the hell out of here, because this is.
But brother, go ahead.
I was about to say, I mean, space. They say space is the final frontier. It's kind of like the only frontier right now.
The only frontier.
It's the only frontier. Because Earth ain't it.
Hasn't been sullied by humans yet.
Think about it. Think about what we got. Damn it, Cup. Anyway. We got gender wars, which that's for another video. But we got gender wars.
I mean, feel
we
free.
already talked about the gender war, but say what your chest, Carl.
I mean, so hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Feel free to kind of branch off in the discussion. Because I mean, honestly, I bring up the main topic, but I'm totally okay with us just going in a totally different direction. Because I want the conversation to flow. So I mean, just go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Preach, motherfucker, preach.
As far as gender wars, all right. As far as I'm gonna speak on both, because I try to be fair. I try to be fair to both. Where I'll start with us men. Where we are messing up, we pay attention to the Coke bottle and we don't pay attention what's inside the Coke bottle. pay more attention to what's inside the Coke bottle.
I get your point.
That's mistake number one. I mean, I get how attractive it is, but then you spend like freaking 6 months with the Coke bottle and you find out, oh God, it's so bad.
Wow.
True.
I don't think women want to be compared to Coke bottles. I can hear the feminists typing already.
Oh, and they know it's true. Saying yes, there is a far right and it's bad doesn't change the fact what I said was right. Nobody argued with you, Kay. Get out. Anyway, so
Hey, don't talk to my man like that.
Whatever. Anyway, so that's thing number one with us. Number two, better choice. I've said this 1,000 times. As far as ladies, that is a whole laundry list that I'm only going to take one thing off of. And that is, please lower your expectations, not your standards. Keep your standards. That's fine. Lower your expectations.
I'm pretty sure Bo Burnham had a song about that.
We can't be this and this and this and this and this. And we're working on ourselves. We're trying to be like, we're not perfect. We are just like y'all ain't perfect. Well, as far as personality anyway, but but we are not perfect. You have to accept, like, we're gonna have flaws. Like, not all of us look like Idris Elba. Not all of us are 6 feet tall, which is one of the silliest preferences I've ever heard in my life, but whatever. And not all of us have 6 figures in the bank. I don't know what y'all expect, but and that's all I got for now. That is all I got.
Hey, but do you think, like, all right, so here's my thing, and I always have a discussion about it with my boy Ramsey. I don't know if he's tuning in. Sometimes he pops in. But
Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, I got Gordon Ramsay on speed dial. Yeah, we've been having deep discussions about life and stuff, you know.
I love how I'm out here just telling anime dad jokes.
And then here we are.
And you're just referencing random people over one single name.
It's what I do. I'm random. Remember, you know me for how long?
Oh my God.
I mean, there is one thing I want to say, but I'm not gonna put you on blast right here.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, do it.
No.
You've been doing it anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say this right here.
Go ahead.
Live in front of anyone who watches this currently on stream and anyone who watches this after.
Oh boy.
There are some bits and some jokes I will make on my friends, such as Suspect's inability to kill Fortress Warrior.
I hope he's watching.
I hope he is too. But there's also the fact that, like, honestly, I'm surprised you haven't called me out for not knowing where you got the moniker G11.
Oh, I called you out at the time, but I just don't.
At the time, but like, I'm putting myself out there. Folks, I knew this man by his official government name.
Oh,
and it was like, 5 months ago? I was just like, wait a minute. G11? G counted the letters in his last name and was just like, man, it all makes sense.
The picture just came together.
Because no, real talk. When I heard you were going by G11, I was just like, yo, is he just trying to like one up G6?
No,
you know, like that song, like a G6. And I was like, is he like just trying to? Is he trying to one up, like, to be better by being G11? Like, he's a homie. I'm not gonna
vibe.
Like, he can vibe with his name.
You played yourself. Congratulations.
Oh, I think he lagged out.
He
took himself out. But I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, wait. There he is. He's back.
I don't know what happened.
I think he has some technical difficulties.
Probably. But regardless, you know, I'm the resident otaku Jude, and I've got like 50 different anime monikers throughout all of my names.
Way too many.
And here
what was it? I think Jazzman called me out by calling me Horror Hero on stream once.
Oh my
which
God.
goes to show like how many names I have.
He did. I think you got a different Discord name. You have this name. Your YouTube, Facebook is something different.
But the point
Literally.
is, there are the personal things, the things I know deep down about my homies that I will never call them out on because other people don't need to know about that stuff.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Like, I doxed you for, not naming me Godfather. I put you on the spot.
You did.
However,
on YouTube,
I'm not going to be like, hey, by the way, did you know that G11's in defeat?
Oh,
obviously, I picked something that's not true, but I'm not going to do that to anybody.
I'm not in defeat.
Quite frankly,
shit.
I'm now going on this tangent because I've been playing Digimon Survive and I'm about to have a mental breakdown.
I know you've been experiencing depression.
Last Saturday, I swear.
He's been playing that game and dealing with depression the entire week.
And for anyone who wants to say any trash about Digimon Survive, yes, 100%. It is 80% a visual novel. It's not the tactical RPG they advertised. But man, am I a bad decision maker.
I always go into those types of games just we talked about this before, but just making decisions how I would actually make them. It usually turns out bad, which makes me question my
when
life.
I first made my first run through, I followed my heart. I did pretty good. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to stay on one set path. What's the worst thing that happens? I'm on my third death.
Hey, Digimon is a metaphor for real life, man. That's it. Yo.
But anyway, let's to kind of bring this back home, because y'all trying to call me out on calling y'all out.
Oh my god.
No, Carl, I'm not gonna like the Discord. I'm down to say that. Anything else? That's between me and you, and anyone not on stream when the conversation happens.
There you go.
That's fair.
Nah, I'm with it. I'm
not going to trust you if I ever get a pet snake, though.
I don't get that one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Carl, you know. And you're the only one who needs to know.
Wait, Carl don't know nothing. Okay, nothing.
Oh my god.
Sure.
I don't.
Sure.
Hey, I do want to ask y'all, do you think all these discussions that are happening, all the gender war stuff, all this stuff on social media, do y'all feel like it's some of this is engineered? Or, I mean, you think there's are you able to look outside of it and be like, well, wait a minute, this is kind of dumb?
Personally, I feel like it's all a distraction.
Yeah, it's kind of where I was getting to.
Very good point.
What was it? Damn, I can't even remember if I was talking to you or somebody else. This is what I get for finishing Code Geass and having a mental breakdown with K.
Oh my god.
But I remember I was talking to someone and we started getting into it about mainly our community and how it went from at one point we were building each other up until suddenly we all came crashing down and now we treat each other like crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
But what was the suddenly? What do you guys think that was?
Personally, I feel like it's when, drugs start getting put in people's neighborhoods.
Yeah. All right. So this is going to be subject for interpretation and arguable to some people. But Black Wall Street, if anybody knows what that is.
I'm familiar with what happened.
It might have been you, Carl. I might have been talking to you.
What?
I think I might have been talking to you about it.
I knew about the first person to talk to me about Black Wall Street was actually my dad.
About how basically we were all joined at one point, we communicated well, and then it all just went to shit. I think I was talking to you now that you brought it up again, because I remember the mention of Black Wall Street.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people who don't know about it. As a matter of fact, I didn't know about it until my father told me. He told me about Black Wall Street. It was either, I think, back in 2019 we really started talking about it. And here's the thing. Uh Parents don't want to tell you how to raise your kids, but please do not let them get the history from their schools. Trust me, there's a lot that they won't find out, especially about Black culture. Like, because Black Wall Street is extremely important. Um, so basically, to sum up Black Wall Street, like really short and not necessarily sweet, but it was kind of seen as like how the Jews were seen, like financially oppressing the Nazis and all that stuff. It was kind of seen like that. Like there was a mob of angry white people. They were like, look at this community, they're flourishing, and they felt that that mob felt like they had nothing. So they blamed a black man for assaulting a white woman, and then shit just went downhill from there. Like they literally destroyed this place. Had banks, like everybody was getting along in the Black community, and then it just went to shit. And then fast forward to like what James is saying, fast forward like 30, 40 years down the line, and we got drugs introduced in our streets. Which is very, very strange to me, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Black Wall Street, but just it goes from there.
Someone's been dropping some points in the comments here. I just want to share some of them real quick.
Who's that?
Who? Soma?
He mentioned someone named Margaret Sanger.
Oh, so Margaret Sanger was she's basically the mother of abortions. For real. So this is she's an actual person in history. And she established abortion clinics with the intent of just really kind of killing the Black population. Like this is actually documented. She established. Again, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm back. I think. But she basically that's the CIA. CIA is listening.
Hey, CIA, get out.
Yeah,
that's not funny. I just heard the sirens coming out behind me.
Next thing you're gonna hear is FBI, open up, bam, bam, bam,
dude.
And then
I got nothing on me. You better get away.
It's gonna be a quick Windows restart.
Windows restart, and hello, my fellow Americans.
Yeah.
It is your resident Air Force
on your computers, if you know what I mean.
Oh my days.
Hey, my stuff is clean.
Right? I don't know what y'all talking about.
I ain't no lolly slumlord.
I just have Overwatch on my computer. But getting back to that point, yes, Margaret Sanger, she basically established Planned Parenthood, and that's why you notice in a lot of like poor Black neighborhoods, there's like a Planned Parenthood usually that carries out like abortions and stuff. That was really her whole thing. She wanted, more Black babies deleted, basically. You can just look her up and you'll see the whole thing about her. Someone's right. Yeah, you can find a whole documentary on YouTube about 39 minutes long. Like this lady had a whole, like that was her whole thing. Like I'm telling you, she had it planned. It was strategic. You know what I'm saying, with what she was doing. So Margaret Sanger is a pretty pivotal figure in this. I'll put it that way.
Sheesh.
Yep. But my question then is, how do we as like the Black community like get past this stuff? So how do we get past the gender war? Because I'm gonna tell you what I see, like just from my perspective, right? I feel like a lot of us kind of hang on to the stuff that's happened, right? we hang on to it and we use it as an excuse or a crutch. For lack of a better term, I call, I've coined this from other people, but they call it the victim Olympics, right? Oh shit, life was hard back then, and that's why I can't get forward now, kind of deal. And I'm thinking, well, what do we, we in America, there's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? There are, I think, more black millionaires that exist now than ever before in this country. So go ahead. What you got, Carl?
Oh no, go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
I'm just wondering, like, how do we as black people get past it? Like, what's the answer?
Okay, so it's a very it's very difficult because you got people who, like you said, they want to stay stuck in the past. And
just to clarify, like, I think the past is important to know and understand, right? So you don't repeat the same mistakes.
Right.
But I see people hanging on to that and using it as an excuse.
But one of the things we have to think about, and then I'm gonna try to get to a possible solution, is you have to remember those who lived back in the 50s, 60s, especially the 40s, and they're still alive. They had to go through, and I'm not trying to justify it by any means. You have to move past that pain, but it's very difficult considering how many years of that did they have to see, and they had to wake up in that every single day. It is very hard to push past 30, 40 years of that, especially if you actually have been like assaulted or any of that. That's hard to move past if you've experienced that length of time of that.
Okay, that's the older crowd, but what about the new generation?
The new generation.
So I was gonna say that's where we got to step back, and while that episode might be looked at as a joke, personal opinion, ego, like overall, even when it comes to, I mean, I mentioned more so as an overall society, but like if we want to start with the smallest common denominator, look at yourself, check your ego, and find ways to be able to go, hey, I'm not the greatest public speaker. And I know I kind of brought this up in the Air Force episode, but not in full. I was put in a position where when it came to recruiting, that was a conversation I had with my supervisor. And he said, you need to learn how to talk to people.
Damn.
Not because I'm bad at it, but I'm introverted. I hate talking to people unless I'm close with you. And even when I'm close with you, you got to admit, like 10 years ago, I was a blunt motherfucker.
Yeah. When I met you, yeah.
But now I've started learning how to talk to people. I relatively check my ego. You offered me a position to be here as part of the panel. And not only was I able to do a job where I have to step back, think about what I'm saying, you gave me an opportunity to grow and better articulate my thoughts, which goes back into my career where now I'm helping people figure out what it is they want to do, whether it's joining the Air Force or they just needed someone to talk to, give them some guidance and let them know, like, hey, these are just opportunities that exist for you, and help you figure out where you want to be.
Hey, so practically, real quick, are you saying as individuals we need to focus on like just building ourselves first or working on that skill set? How can you tie that back in?
Mainly, again, check your ego. Because let's cycle that back, right? What if I just 100%, the way I talk to people is fine.
Right.
It's cool that when I'm tired of people, I just quit.
Oh, facts.
Would I be able to do my job? Better yet, I'd still be in my old career field where probably get to a point of wanting to do something else. I already gave up on a chance to do an opportunity to move outside of it. And who's to say I'm going to get that chance again?
So wait a minute. You mentioned something interesting. I was kind of listening in between the lines a little bit. But it sounds like what you're saying is, since you kind of were introspective, right? You realize something that you need to work on, that it opened up opportunity for you. Am I right?
Yup.
Hmm.
Now, with that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Boom. I got a whole new career field. But let's say I'm still fine at what I do. Would I be proficient at my job talking like I did way back when?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And then someone's going to call me out for not being good at my job. And I'm either going to have to check my ego here with a little bit of paperwork and disciplinary action, or I'm going to have to open my eyes and figure out the best way to get right. Regardless, it's the ego that holds everybody back. So check your ego. Whether you know you need to take a step back and just, hey, let someone talk. Just, they don't have to, it doesn't matter if they're right. And I'm going to quote Fate because I love that series. But just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct. I could spit facts all day about why I think, picking at random, Carl should shave his beard and regrow his hair.
Oh my God.
And just because I could possibly be right by spitting facts, how do I know that's what he wants to do?
That's true. That's a good point. Carl, before we dig into your solution a bit more, I'm going to read this comment from Annabelle Lee. So she's chiming in on the Brittney Griner conversation. She said, I'm getting tongue-tied. She says, the U.S., I'm sounding like the commander-in-chief. He can't read. I'm sorry, commander-in-sleep. The U.S. has been desperate to trade the merchant for Griner and before her for Reed and other Americans, and Russia always refuses. The U.S. doesn't know how to negotiate. Again, that is a good point, Annabelle Lee. I don't know if it's that the U.S. doesn't know how to negotiate. I think it's the current administration that doesn't know how to negotiate. I think that's where we're at.
Pretty sure there was a point that, we just outright said we don't negotiate with terrorists.
That was during like Reagan. I think Reagan or Nixon, one of them said it, but then they did some backdoor deals and did some stuff.
And as where that's true,
friggin' hidden.
I'm just saying, we put out the word, don't do this, and someone still went and did it.
That's fair.
Well, that's what Russia's trying to do. Well, so with this offer that they gave, talking about, hey, we'll give you Brittney if you give us, Merchant of Death and Assassin guy. They said, we need to keep these negotiations quiet, like off the record. So Russia wants everything involved with that trade and the negotiations to not be in the media. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to handle it quietly. I know it's too late, be all. And that ties back into the whole, main vein of this conversation is just the mob rule, social media, people making, I think, ignorant decisions, even with all the information available to them. You feel me?
And then, so what was it? We either talked about it offline or something.
Questioned it too, yeah.
But that one effect where it was like an effect on belief, where even if you're like shown proof that you're wrong, again, going back to the ego, you just double down on your statements with evidence that you're wrong.
Yeah.
Presented in front of you.
That is a big thing. Like a lot of this stuff, there's all kinds of evidence and things to refute things. I'm gonna mention, what's his name? He just got sued and lost like $45 million.
Me.
Alex Jones. Y'all remember who that guy is?
Yeah.
He
Can't stand him.
he was like the conspiracy theorist, and he's known for saying just some pretty wild shit on the clips.
Infowars.
Infowars. Yep, his Infowars company got sued for defamation because of the
Sandy
He
Hook.
said the Sandy Hook thing. He said the shooting wasn't real, the parents weren't real, stuff like that. But he lost in court and got. I think he has to pay about $45 million or so, close to $50 million.
I heard the judge really ripped in.
Yeah, because I think he said some stuff during court. Like I think he cursed out the prosecutor or something like that. Like Alex Jones is crazy.
Yeah, that man's unhinged, and I'm being nice.
Yeah, the big crazy,
crazy homie.
But yeah, and that was the other point I was going to get to. Every once in I said, like every other thing he talked about, he actually was right on a lot of stuff, and the facts actually backed it up. So he seemed like he was crazy at the time, but later on, his stuff got substantiated. You know what I mean? I forget where I was even going with why I mentioned him. I don't know, we're talking about the mob rule and all that stuff. Brittney Griner.
Yeah.
I know we did mention issues with the community solutions and all that. I don't think we got to your solution, Carl. Jude gave his, which is work on yourself, and then that'll kind of translate over. But I mean, what do you think, Carl?
I will caveat off of Jude. It's ego, and we have to be willing to sit down. Like that's why I mentioned those from the past. Not necessarily from the who lived in the past to an extent.
There's the people that are stuck and still kind of in that headspace of I was wrong, so it's okay for me to be wrong kind of thing.
Right. Like basically because they don't, what am I trying to say? They don't really want to sit down. Like I've always said, sit down and talk and teach these youngins. You can be mad at them all you want for doing all this crazy stuff. But if you're not willing to teach, like you're just as in the wrong as they are.
And to caveat, sorry, I know I like to interject here and there, but this is a point I always make that kind of throws people off a little bit. The generation, like our current generation, acts this way because of the previous generation. Like this didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The previous generation allowed certain behaviors and actions to go on in the homes. And now, as a result, this is where we are. Like the LGBTQ thing didn't come out of nowhere. It was a progressive set of things that led up to where we are. You know what I mean?
And just because it is a progressive set of things, it's not always good stuff.
Right.
Like,
correct.
Again, with the LGBT thing, cool. I was taught you love who you love. Doesn't matter. If I find it weird, but that person's cool with it, cool. Let them do what they do. But eventually, I'm going to have to accept that is that person's interpretation of love, and I have no grounds to tell them who's right, who's wrong.
Oh,
however,
so regressive.
However, do I need to be going out here looking at my 5-year-old cousin who doesn't even know who they are yet? They just started school, and they're gonna look at me and tell me they're the opposite gender. Note, I don't have a 5-year-old cousin. This is just an extreme example.
Right.
Because I've seen it where a young kid was just like, no, I want to be the opposite gender because XYZ. It was like, you're 5. You just learned how to spell your name.
You know what? I'm gonna quickly caveat off of that. So that was a 5-year-old, right? So I think, who was it? Uh-oh.
I'm still here.
Okay. I believe it was
Look, I'm used to G somehow dying in the episode. I've run an episode without him. We're good.
Yeah.
I believe it was Chaz. It it was Cher's daughter, son.
Cher's daughter. Oh, was it? No, wait, yeah. So she had a daughter, but it's like Chad or something, right?
Yeah.
And then
So
she became a dude,
and
I
then
think.
found out that it's not as easy to be the other gender.
Mm-hmm.
Admitted this at a time, and it's like, yeah, like you don't understand.
Well, I think
Y'all,
most
Like,
rational people do realize that shit's not always greener on the other, because I think inherently, like just as people, we're always looking at other situations and being like, huh, it looked kind of nice over there. I wonder what that's like, kind of thing.
yep.
I think I said this in like I think I said this in the previous episode, not the previous episode, but I said this in another episode. Yeah, the grass is greener on the other side, but snake hiding that grass, so better be careful.
Well, that yeah, I mean, and then you don't really know the situation, and oftentimes, and I was watching, I kind of picked this up from one of the people I watch, but oftentimes the situation is going to be the same regardless of what you do. You think the grass is green, you get over there, it's not really what you think. It's because of you feel
Yeah.
me? It's your mindset. I think, well, Anton Daniels, he mentioned this. He's like, the fun, like, people who go places and don't have fun and stuff like that. It's like, well, I mean, the fun is with you make the fun.
Right.
There's different areas and all that kind of stuff, but really it starts with you.
You make your own adventures, like,
You
but
make your own adventures. You make life hard or easy. It's
exactly.
all on you.
Be careful with what you like. I am very big on the choices that people make, because I actually saw a video, and I might send it to you. I might send it later. So there's a guy. He calls himself Kofa. I just discovered him today. Literally, I think the Lord was like, "Okay, I got a new one for you." I'm like, "Okay." Calls himself Kofa. He has a podcast channel that he does by himself, completely by himself.
Nice.
Called the Growth Talk Podcast.
Nice.
What was it? It stands for I gotta look at it again, but I'll tell you next time. But he was looking at a few videos, and there were two of them that stuck out to me. One of them made me really angry. I just discovering these videos. Anyway, so this lady was like, if you're a nice guy, don't date, because you're gonna get used and you're boring. Like, okay. The second one, and this is gonna this might bother you. I don't know. But this 5-year-old boy was hanging out with his mom. And he was like, "Mom, do I have a dad?"
Oh.
She stopped for about 5 seconds. And she was like, "Yeah." And little boy was like, "Where is he?" And she was, "And what's his name?" And she basically she told her son his name, and then he was like, "Well, if you tell him I'm good, if you call him and tell him I'm good, maybe he'll come and be with us." And she fumbled for the answers on that one.
That's tough.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that one hit me because I grew up in a stable home. It was rocky at times. I'm gonna say this. It was rocky at times, but at least I had my parents. I had both.
Yeah.
And to see that, that's why I'm so big on choices, because it's like, you can't control everything. I understand that. You can't control everything. You can't control how people operate. You can't.
You can't control losing 3 of your party members because you're terrible at decision making.
Go away. But anyway, if you know this isn't a person that's going to fit your life, especially, sometimes you don't have plans for children. I get that. But, that's dicey, because now your son is wondering where his father is, and what are you going to tell him?
Mm-hmm. No, it's facts. No, but I get what you're saying. It's all about decisions that you make. Jude, you mentioned some practical skills that people can work on. Oh, did we lose Carl? I'm gonna drop him down and oh no, there he is. There's Carl. Okay. some really good solutions. I think the answer is a combination of both. What would y'all say to the people out there who are just saying free Britney? Like what would you say to those folks?
I'd ask them plain and simple why, and not just why. If it was anyone else, would you still say the same thing? Because based on facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
if it was my black ass,
any
nobody cared.
Joe Schmo, not just Brittany, any Joe Schmo takes an illegal substance into a country that deems it illegal,
right,
and gets booked for 9 years, would you say the same thing?
Exactly. I'm gonna say this at the price and risk of sounding heartless.
Go for it.
It's 9 years compared to if that man gets loose, you don't understand the amount of danger everybody's in. I sound crazy.
No, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Carl.
So Carl, I believe what you say, but here's the thing, right? Sometimes there is that big picture, right? Start out small for people, right?
True.
Going into a little bit on my job, and G, I'm gonna use you as my example, right?
Yeah, go for it.
You came into my office and you had big picture. What do you want to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Without telling me anything, what are your steps to get to that end goal?
Steps to get to that end goal. So I told you my goal, like my big goal.
Yep. So what are your steps to get there? And there are people who can't tell me like what steps they take. It's just like, well, I don't know, but I want to get there. Okay, cool. Here's what I can do in a way to assist you and give you options toward that goal. Carl, going back to here.
Okay.
Big picture, yeah, those are two threatening individuals they're asking to get back, right? So, for two threatening individuals, if I pick any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street, is that a fair trade? And if you still say yeah, why?
Right. How do you justify that in your mind?
Right.
I'm really glad you mentioned that part though, because yeah, I mean, way in the scale of things. I mean, imagine these guys getting swapped in the trade, and then the amount of death that's going to happen as a direct result of that.
And that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, like people don't care at all. They're just on the bandwagon. They're just with the mob rule. Just free Britney. So my whole thing is people. I like the way you mentioned that, Jude, breaking it down, making it make sense. But I think you build up to that big picture. I think you do, lay it out like, hey, this is the implications of this versus Britney, who she's just a basketball player, what I'm saying, who's being promoted on this pedestal like she's something more than she is.
And that's another we need to stop doing. We need to stop putting people on pedestals, because then you have situations like this where, okay, she's over there being used as a bargaining chip once again.
Because of us.
for two of potentially the most dangerous individuals right now. The other one being the president of Russia. But you're talking about an assassin and the death merchant.
A whole assassin and the nigga with the name Merchant of Death. Like,
it's like, folks,
I don't know.
Just weigh that. Basketball player, two men who crave war and death. Like, How do you? It doesn't compute. It doesn't compute at all.
I'm with you there, Carl. I'm with you there. But I think a lot of people are just going, like I said, that mob rule mentality. I think people are just seeing other people support it, and they're just like, oh, if I don't support it, I'm gonna be treated like this kind of thing. And people have to take a stand and stand for what's right, even if it's unpopular. You gotta take a stand somewhere.
Grain. Gotta go against the grain sometimes. I do. Shoot. I do it all the time. Hey, Carl, there's a fat butt. I ain't looking at it.
And that's where I get upset with, like, those portions of getting to that vocal minority.
Yes.
Because you realize the majority, they're not saying something because they know it's wrong.
Yep.
Like, default, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I don't need to comment on it.
Right.
But then we got that one person. I think he's right.
And then everybody else starts
out of 20 different people from that one guy, yeah, whatever that is. And all of a sudden, every minor person who thinks like that starts speaking up.
Well, that's
and
exactly
every
what I think we're
rational
seeing.
person was just like, that was stupid.
But the rational people are quiet. I mean, we're seeing a lot of rational people actually utilize their platforms. This is one platform where we're talking about this stuff, right?
I mean,
But
I understand that, but I mean, like, so again, as I pointed out with one of the things that our country seems to do, it's those knee-jerk reactions.
Yes.
So there's folks who will, what was it, May, when we went through those extreme episodes where there were moments where each of us would pop off, but then it was just like, yo, like, guys, whether it was me, I know you caught us once, but hey, like, I know you're mad, but stop, think about it.
Yep. Especially like if it's a topic that's sensitive to you. So for me, I like to use myself as an example for a lot of this stuff. Children are a very sensitive topic to me because I have 2 kids myself, 2 daughters. So anytime I hear any type of school shooting or any kind of like mistreatment of children or people just being reckless with their kids, it hits a nerve every single time. And I've covered too many stories on this channel where people have been reckless and children have lost their lives. So from time to time, like I'll pop off, like that's my knee-jerk reaction. I'll pop off, but then I'll come back later and be like, well, wait a minute, let me just, I don't wish death on nobody and stuff like that. Like, due process, justice system, all that stuff. So that's a good point, Jude. Go ahead.
I mean, like,
continue.
Again, I'm not saying it's bad to have those knee-jerk reactions, but
maybe not put it online.
You need to catch yourself.
Maybe not put it online right away.
Yeah, because we'll say like that, like, as you pointed out, anything that happens negatively with kids, that would be a red flag for you.
Yeah, that's a.
And as I've mentioned with D&D, we're gonna small scale this real quick.
All right.
Let's say I host a D&D session with you, me, Carl. We start going in it. Hey, here's what my idea is for the game. This is the type of content we got. And you say, cool. One quick thing. Do not brutalize a kid.
Yeah.
If there happens to be something like that you planned, understand, just don't put it on screen.
Right.
And if I say cool,
right, you agreed to the terms.
We start going into it, and all of a sudden, we'll say 2 sessions down the line, I brutalize a kid on screen. If you pop up and hit me, who's in the wrong?
Well, I mean, I don't condone just random violence, so I shouldn't just hit you. But you're also wrong for, like, you agreed in the beginning and then kind of went back on it.
Yup.
Yeah.
But that knee-jerk reaction, you got up and hit me.
That's very similar to the Will Smith slap.
True.
I would
In a
still
way,
be
true.
It was
again.
he just did it. Something got said. He told said person to be quiet, and they kept talking. So he pulled up and whap.
Oh Lord. So
mean-
both parties are wrong in that scenario though. You know, because you went back on your word and did what you said you weren't going to do, and then I would definitely be wrong for just hitting you. You know, because
Now,
you can't just randomly violate somebody. I mean,
true,
it's not. That's not the way.
true. Now let's say, flip it a bit, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I bring up the content, you don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because in most cases, especially when we start looking through media,
Yes.
we can't just put out there, hey, don't brutalize the kids,
Yeah.
because it's the internet. And I'm not saying all of the internet is bad, but I found out there's genuinely a Netflix original where they
Oh
went
yeah.
like the internet teamed up to track down a dude who was killing cats.
What?
Yes,
Hey, why?
So the internet actually used its power for good.
it did. But again, nobody knows who's going to do that until it gets done.
I see what
So
you're
if
saying.
you pop off and swing at me for something I don't know about, how could I know I'm wrong? Obviously, I'm going to pause real quick because there's moral conflict, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Right.
But realistically, check the ego, figure out what it is you want to convey and what you want done, and don't just be a homicidal maniac.
Yeah, that too. Really take a second and think about it. Yeah, I like that. That's a good take. Final thoughts, gentlemen, on this. We went pretty good today. We went about almost an hour and a half on this. So, final thoughts on this?
Final thoughts is same thing. I got that one question. If you are someone out there, go ahead and leave a comment as to why. And after your why, if you switched her with anybody else here in the United States, do you keep that same answer?
Ooh, good question for the audience. What about you, Carl?
Well, final thoughts. On the on Brittney Griner,
Yeah.
study your laws abroad, especially for the following two countries, Russia and China. Do your homework, please. We don't need any more incidents like this. We don't.
Yeah.
Especially for China. If you're black, don't go over there.
Oh, hey, them passport dudes.
I
Man, they be slaying in China.
You go over there if you want. I from what I understand, we ain't really wanted.
I mean, we can talk offline. That can be an offline conversation.
Oh God. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our episode. Jude, Carl, thanks for.
Oh gosh.
Hey,
Oh, you need to calm down. She's in middle school.
No.
Hey,
Oh,
I appreciate y'all for tapping in as always. To the audience, thank y'all for the comments. Soma, thanks for tapping in. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
you need to calm down. She's 22.
Oh my
Be
God.
quiet.
That's a previous episode reference. Go back and watch that episode if y'all haven't. Kay, thanks for tapping in as always too in the comments, holding it down. I think the wife tuned in. Pretty much everybody that tuned in, appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share. Let us know what you think about the topic down below.
And before we go,
oh
I just want
snap!
to do the same thing we do all like a bit. I know I haven't set a light goal, but it's been a minute.
Oh my gosh.
It's homie. Oh my God. What's the light goal?
What light goal? I haven't set a light goal in a minute.
Oh, okay. Hey,
But you know what? Let's keep this simple. If we can get 69 likes.
It's such a specific number.
If we can get 69 likes, we will let you, the viewers, email
God.
G11 your topics, and we'll talk about it.
That'd be good. 69 likes, and we'll cover a topic of y'all's choosing. God damn it, I'm doing the thing. As always, y'all already know what's next. Y'all be safe out there in those streets.
Yep.
Peace. And that's it. I mean,